Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to give you guys a market update for the summer of 2022. I'm going to talk about who this market favors right now in terms of buyers and sellers. And I'm also going to talk about investment properties and specifically the rental market. If this is your first time to the channel, my name is Hasan. I make these educational videos to help you in your buying or selling journey. Without wasting any time, let's get started. Now, if you're paying attention to the headlines right now, you're going to know that sales are down in Metro Vancouver and the Fraser Valley. From a quantity perspective, we're down about 43% in Metro Vancouver and down about 50% in the Fraser Valley. Now, again, the key thing to remember here, this is quantity of sales. This isn't pricing. Pricing, actually, if you look at it, overall, Metro Vancouver, from a year-over-year standpoint, is still actually up about 11%. So it's really important when you listen to headlines, when you read headlines, that you look past the noise, because if you look at data over a longer period of time, if you zoom out, if you will, you'll see that Vancouver real estate is still performing quite well over a year-over-year basis. When we look at month-over-month change, which is probably a better indicator for pricing, we're down anywhere from 1.5% for Metro Vancouver condos to about 3.5% for detached homes in the Fraser Valley. And this is quite typical because the amount that these homes appreciated, specifically the Fraser Valley and detached homes, it makes sense that these would actually fall a greater amount than, say, Metro Vancouver condos. The other big difference between Metro Vancouver and Fraser Valley right now is the amount of supply that's on the market. So from a year-over-year basis, Metro Vancouver did have an uptick, an increase in supply, about 5%. Now, Fraser Valley had a significant increase year-over-year, up about 18% supply-wise. So a lot more listings to choose from. And we've talked about supply and demand on this channel. When the supply goes up, demand gets alleviated a little bit, and later on, it takes a little bit of time for the metric to show it, but you'll see prices drop from that point. Some of the best opportunities, I'd say, out there in terms of quantity of units available and price drops as well, I would suggest are in Langley, whereas the closer you get to Metro Vancouver, you're seeing less substantial price drops. And you know, one of the things they teach you in real estate, one of the first things they tell you is location, location, location. And typically in down markets, the first places to get hit are these suburbs, the outskirts away from Vancouver. For example, areas close to Vancouver, I'll just throw out North Vancouver. It's one of the few cities in the lower mainland that's still a seller's market for detached homes. Most detached homes now are either in a balanced market, whereas in the Fraser Valley, a lot of these detached homes now are shifting towards buyers and are actually in a buyer's market right now. So rather than bore you with any more stats, I'm going to leave it at that. But what I do want to talk about now is, who does this market favor? Now, we've already seen, we had a peak, I would say peak for pricing at the end of February, early March, essentially. Now, in a lot of areas, different product types, we've seen prices drop over 20% already. And there is a thought out there that if people wait long enough, prices are going to continue to fall, and that can surely be the case. There's going to be another interest rate announcement in September. It's expected that there's going to be an interest rate hike. This will further trigger the market, I would say, in terms of buying power at least, because when this happens, buying power decreases. But none of us can really predict the future. So sometimes if you wait and wait and wait and you wait too long, the market can start going back in an upwards direction and you get left behind. So my point being is that you can't time the market, but you've probably heard this saying, it's all about how much time you spend in the market. So buy and hold. And that's why you hear a lot of realtors, myself included, we talk about a 5-year time frame in real estate. Are you going to hold your property for 5 to 7 years? The reason we suggest that is if you look at the data for Metro Vancouver, you'll see, and this is for the lifetime data, I think they started tracking it in 2005, you'll see that you could have bought at any peak. And if you hold on for 5 years, if you had held on, you would be up on your investment. So that 5-year number, we do base it on the past. Now, past performance is not indicative of future results, of course, but sometimes all we have to rely on is the data itself. So keep that in mind when you're assessing your own situation. In terms of who this market favors though, I think this is a great opportunity for those that are looking to upsize their principal residence. So perhaps you live in a condo right now, you live in a townhome right now, you're considering making the jump to the larger property type, whether that's a townhome or a detached home. The way to think about this is the condo market has seen much less of an impact by these increases in interest rates. A lot of areas are still in the seller's market territory for condos. So if you're to sell your condo first and move into one of these larger properties, townhomes or detached homes, you're going to see some excess savings by purchasing on those detached homes today. Again, like I mentioned, a lot of these properties, and mainly in the detached segment, are down over 20% already. Another way to look at it is if you're selling your condo and you're moving into a townhome, a more expensive townhome, if you're down 10% on your condo when you sell it, but you purchase your new property for 10% less, you're actually ahead of the game than having done any of this last year. So again, if you're someone that's looking to upsize your property, you're going to be able to do it in a much less stressful environment. If you wait until a hot market, yes, you're going to sell your property in a snap, but now when you purchase your next property, you're going to be up against other offers. You're probably going to have limited subjects you can put into that offer. It's just a riskier and more stressful experience waiting until a hot market to upsize. I mentioned off the top, I did want to talk very quickly about the rental market. And the reason I want to talk about the rental market is in terms of those of you, I know there's some of you who already have purchased real estate, perhaps you own your principal residence, you're considering getting some sort of investment property to go along or to add to your real estate portfolio. I personally have never seen a stronger rental market in my time following real estate. So that's almost 10 years now. The one-bedroom unfurnished rents on average now in Vancouver are almost $2,500 per month. We've seen such a surge this year in rental rates because of the demand. And that's the thing, when real estate prices increase, it prices a lot of people out of the market, and more people are relegated, I guess you could say, to be renting. Not only that, but we're heading into a time period where travel is back up and running again. More students are coming into town to go to school, etc. So right now, especially, we're seeing an uptick in the rental rates. Look, it's no secret. People that purchase rental investments in Vancouver, not a lot of times are you actually cash flowing, meaning that the income that you get from the rental is going to cover all of your expenses. A lot of people, in Vancouver are purchasing real estate because they believe in long-term appreciation. A lot of true investors will tell you that's no way to invest. You should always invest for cash flow. But unfortunately, it's not possible where we live. So we have to look at some of the reasons why we're drawing all of these people continually to our city. So if you're considering a property investment right now, I would look heavily at the rental market. Myself, my own story, I have a 2-bedroom rental in Coquitlam. Last year I went to rent it for $2,300 a month. Took a little bit of time to find the tenant we want and get the applicants and get somebody in there. My tenant did give notice that they're going to leave. So now we're re-renting it out. We have multiple showings, multiple applicants, likely going to rent it out for $2,600 per month, so $300 more than we did last year. I could probably even go higher with it, but I'm more concerned with getting, a strong tenant in there. But, the whole frenzy we saw with real estate sales, if you will, multiple offers, multiple showings, that has now trickled its way into the rental market. And the other thing to keep in mind with rental investments is once you have your tenant in there, you are regulated in terms of how much you're able to increase the rent each year. And it's not a huge amount. It generally does not line up with inflation itself. So if you can purchase a property that you can rent out immediately, suppose it's vacant right now, you can rent it immediately at today's market rental rates, you get that jump, that head start on the rental income. It's a great way to get into real estate as an investment channel. You can choose to manage it yourself, or you can have a property management company take care of it, and you're hands off in terms of the entire situation of managing that property. Now, quickly before I sign off, I just mentioned that There's a lot of demand, a lot of travel, a lot of people coming back, students coming back to rent property here and go to school for the fall semester. Now, the foreign buyer ban for Canada is officially coming now as of January 1st. So it had been announced by the Trudeau government, and now they actually have a time frame on it for January 1st. I've mentioned before, I don't expect this is going to have a significant impact at all on the real estate market. There are exemptions for students, foreign workers. There are a few different exemptions of this foreign buyer ban. And actually, if you look at the metrics, we are now at the lowest point for foreign buyers that we've had since the foreign buyer ban, since the foreign buyer tax was introduced, which I believe was 2016, 2017. So we're at the lowest point. Across Canada, it's about 1.5% in terms of foreign buyers. They're actually purchasing real estate in Canada. So again, I don't expect this is going to have an effect on the market, but if you're curious, it is being implemented as of January 1st. So guys, I hope you learned something from this video. If you did, I would love it if you could hit the like button and consider subscribing to the channel. What this does is it sends the video out to more people so they can learn from it as well. If you need any help with real estate in the Vancouver area or the Fraser Valley area, all my contact is below. You can reach out to me directly. If there are any questions you want me to answer as well, put them in the comments and I'll do them in future videos. But again, I appreciate you taking time to watch this video and I hope you have a wonderful day.